Can you hear me? Okay. So in this video we will discuss about the social resources present in our Indian society with respect to GS paper 1 and sociology paper 2 for UPSC examination. So let us look into the facts and figures. Social resources are present in terms of social capital, and it is the sum of the resources, actual or virtual, that accrue on an individual or a group by virtue of possessing a durable network of more or less institutionalized relationship of mutual acquaintances and recognition. What does it mean, friends? That the social relationship goes with the mutual acquaintances and recognition. So, for example, you go to work somewhere, you have to choose some people to have your group, you interact with certain people, hmm? And in this interaction, you will recognize someone is senior who is having status, someone is having a role of a technician, someone is working as individual electrician, someone is working in some other perspective. So that role played by this individual leads to their fragmentation based on their nature of work, and that leads to status. So you feel that these people have their own status in the presence of the society, and they are having categorized on those bases. So we see in our family also there is father, there is a mother, and there are brother and sister. That is a family hierarchy, and people interacting under this pattern are having the same criteria for the interaction. But when it goes to a family, we also see there is grandfather and grandmother also, despite there is son, granddaughter, and there is chachi, and there is mama. In the similar way, when we recognize the pattern present in our family with respect to our society, we will find different changes. And in this manner, we will find that these changes are leading to certain different structure and their work culture based on their efficiency, their existence, and their functions. And these functions are based on the needs which they fulfill during their interaction. So they fulfill certain needs which are also required to be fulfilled by these people. And somehow we found that these relations, when go to societal level, when we go outside the society, the father interact with his colleague, similar uncle G is there, and you will interact with the son of that uncle G who is your classmate, and maybe he is another guy from another school. And in this way the social interaction makes a bonding between you two people. Now this is a common social structure which is also seen ahead the family, and when you go to some institutions to work, it expands to a larger part. So it is categorized in three types of cultures, that is cultural capital resource, economic capital resource, and social capital resource. Cultural capital resource are those resources which are in terms of language, religion, uh, cuisines, food, and items which you have in your day to day life, and which is also some part of religion and some part of your tradition. This all thing is made to the cultural part. Okay, then there is economical capital, which is comprised of economic resource, the business, and the shared economic activities in a society. We saw a milkman coming to your house daily, You saw cleaner, sweeper, business people, which you daily interact. This is all from our economic capital. Latter is the social capital, which is the social thing which you get from the relation with the society for which you are interacting with the other social factors. For example, you interact with other social component such as a policeman, a lawyer, or a doctor in need. So you see, in lockdown we have huge need of doctors in order to cure the disease of COVID-19. Okay, and this was happening due to the fact that it was providing a separate perspective to the entire society. Now we think that what is a class and what is division? So, as per Karl Marx, it is a fragmentation of society into two parts, haves and have nots. Haves are those people who are having the resources of production and having control over the modes of production. Okay, and they are, for example, you see there is a maid coming in your house, she is having the control over the means of production, she is having interaction with the kids, she is cleaning the clothes, hmm? And without which your work of house will remain useless. So it works in a satisfactory manner and you feel that is her work to be done. But when it goes to another form of a doctor, let us say, then doctor has another class. Despite he is not fulfilling your day-to-day needs, but when you need certain medication of severe health issue, you are feeling sick, you are vomiting, and you are severely pathetic condition, then you go to a doctor directly, and he is categorized as superior than the maid coming to your house, and this is called as the differentiation or stratification. So everyone is categorized on the basis of his or her work. Let us see that Aristotle also divides the society into three parts, that is upper caste, middle class and poor classes. Sorry, three classes as per Aristotle are upper class, middle class and poor class. Upper class categorizes of the king and queen, president, prime minister, and such bodies who are having the whole and soul sovereignty, control of law and order, and following the principles. Similarly, the lower class is comprising of the lower social order who are in terms of middle class. So who are these people? They are workers, these are peoples going to office, these are peoples who are running industries, merchants, traders, and so on. Some other class categorized as the poor class who are not having any resource but they have to sell their labor. So in sociology, it was first used by Saint Simon in synonymous of the state. So in the European society during French Revolution, you see that society was categorized under three states, and it was ruled by king, second state the church, and latter there were the middlemen. So what is the characteristics of class? Class are characterized on the basis of ranking in vertical order. The way they are ranked in a certain perspective is providing their ranking. They are having a permanent class interest among the members of the society. They are having the idea of class consciousness and solidarity. They know what are their rights, what is the unity, what are their biases, what is their religion, what is their motto, what is their vision. Therefore, these classes are in solidarity with each other, and what are the enclosed ideas of social distance, distinctions in the form of inequality and social boundaries. So, Karl Marx says that class is a social group sharing same relationship with respect to means of production, owner who was the upper class bourgeois who are having the controls over the production, and in this class there are ranked top of the vertical. So the bourgeois class kept on the topmost level, and they are commanding the other classes of society to work according to their needs. And there is a working class who is called as proletariat, who contains frictions throughout the history, and the inherent contradiction between these two classes leads to the class and class conflict as given by Karl Marx in his famous theory of class and class conflict. Now you are getting this thing, that why these classes were struggling with each other. One class was having control over the means of resources and the forces of production. On the other side, the other class was not having any control over the means, but they have to sell their labor in order to justify their needs in the existence. And this leads to the presence of the haves and have not class in the society. Now, when these classes do not fulfill each other's need, for example, haves ask the have nots to do certain kind of job, and when this is not being done, then there is a constraining feature, and that leads to the conflict between haves and have nots, and that is called as the class conflict. This was one of the most famous theory of Karl Marx, which came in the face of history in his idea of Communist Manifesto. Now let us look into other part of social phenomena, that is social stratification. And what is that? Stratification is categorization of groups of people into a hierarchy on the basis of wealth, status or power. So these people are working on the basis of their categorization at different levels of opportunities present in the society. We also see that the categorization for the topmost level in terms of king, queen or president goes in a way that they are the topmost authority having the sovereign power to work, to take decision and to have their own opinion. In the second class, who was a military class, a priest or the church in the Europe was having little less power with respect to the first class, that was king or queen, and this class was having its own assertion over the lower class, lower middle class and poor working class who were the farmers. Hmm? And who were other people of lower stratum of society who is paying their working category and providing their labor in order to have their contribution in the social stratum. Now next part comes when these classes are discriminated on the basis of their work. Although you see